In this video, let us talk a little bit about arrays and collections in C#. What are arrays? Arrays are collections of objects in C# that have the same data type. In a little while, we'll talk about collecting objects, but let's look at arrays first. Let me create a new project for this. I'll open that up. And then I'll start writing the code. I said an array is a collection of objects with the same data type. So we can have an array of integers, for example. And I can put in values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. I could also declare it as this. And set the size of the array. Here I'm declaring the size of this array, and here I am assigning values directly to the array. Then I can decide to go ahead and print out the elements of the array. So I can say console.writeLine my numbers Now, in C#, array indexes start from 0. So if I have 5 elements in my array, the last element will have index of 4, where the first element will have an index of 0. So ideally you have n-1 at the index of any object. So if I do this, I will get 1 in my console. Let me comment the following line out and then run this code. That will be a .NET run. And I'll specify that I want to run my arrays project. In my console, I should get the output 1 printed out for me. If I change this value and say I want to print out the element at index number 3, I should get 5 printed out of the console for me. You see that? Now if I tried printing out the index at 4, I should get an error because there is no element at that index for this array. I should get an error that says index is out of range. You see that error? Index is out of bounds of the array, so I need to keep it in scope. Let me comment that out for now, and let us deal with the other array. I can start assigning values to the elements of this array. So I could say my nice numbers at 0 equals 1, or I could accept input from the console. We'll talk about this in a little while. I could say my nice numbers at index 1 equals 5. I could keep on doing this till I get to the last bit of my elements, but you know what? Let me reduce this size to 2 so I don't want to waste our time. Then I can use a for each loop. Remember, iterations now form up projects. Then I can say for each number inside my nice numbers, print out number. And then I should get 1 and 5 printed out of the console for me. You see? I could also use a for loop to iterate over this. So I could say for int I starting at 0 and ending at my nice numbers dot length. So this will terminate at the ending point of my array. Then I can say console.writeLine my nice numbers at this particular index, which is high. Let me try and run that in my console. I should get 1 and 5 also in my console output. There are other kind of collection objects in C# aside from arrays. A simple example which you might get to use every day in your programming is lists. There are a number of them in C#. We have lists, we have dictionaries, we have observable collections, we have queues, sorted lists, tags. There are a whole lot of them, but I will focus on list here. So I could have a list of string, and then let me call that people. And this would be a new list of string. It could be a list of integers, could be anything I want it to be. Now I need to import the namespace system.collections.generic for this to work. If I try to run this, I should run into a problem. The problem says could not find, oh, my bad. This should be what I put in. Then I should get an error that something is not in the context. Am I missing the reference? Yes, I am. So I need to import using system.collections.generic. That will enable me to use the list class in my code. Let me try to run this again. You see, nothing bad happens now. Then I can start putting stuff inside this. So I could say people dot add Dara, people dot add Smith. I could also have people dot add James. So I could go on and on this way. And the sweet part with list is it doesn't have the limitations that array has. The limitations of arrays is that once you declare it, you cannot increase the size of the element in it, but a list rather, you can increase the element in it by adding to it and also removing from it, thereby reducing the size of memory it consumes on the system. You know what? Let me output this to the console. So I can say for each loop is best to work with lists if I wanted to output everything in there. So I'll start a for each loop here. And I'll say the person in people console.writeLine person. I should get the output Dara, James, and Smith line by line. You see, Dara, Smith, and James. There are other ones that are available. Let me actually look a little bit at dictionaries. Dictionaries in C# are key value pair types. So for example, I want to have a collection of objects and know them by their values. So what I can do is I'll declare a dictionary, and then I will set the key, which could be an integer or maybe even a string. It doesn't really matter. And then the values here could be something else. Say for example, I want to have a key value pair of my passwords. So this could be a dictionary of string. So what you normally have here is the key and the value. That is how you declare it. So let me say, you know what? Let me call this, string. And then let me call it access codes. Of course, these codes are not real. So this would be a new dictionary. Of string and string. Then I can start adding things inside there. So I could say access codes dot add. Then I put in the first element, the key, which would be maybe main gate. and then the value would be 1 2 3 4 pass. I could add more as much as I want to. I could say access code dot add door. That would be pass 1 2 3 4. Then I could also output this to the console. So I can say var main gate code equals access codes, and then I put in the key that I want, which is main gate. Then if I output this to the console, I should get pass 1 2 3 4 pass. Let's try this. There's a little bit of problem. I'm missing some bits and pieces here. Yes, I can find it. That is the problem. Am I missing any other thing? I don't think so. Let's run now. You see, I get 1 2 3 4 pass. So I get the value that is stored inside this key. And that's a little bit about arrays and collection in C#. I'll see you again in another video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you will get notifications when I post new videos on this channel. See you in another video. Goodbye.